Hey guys, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. I am giving you guys a live talking about Ready to Love. Yes, I'm in my hotel room, so I'm in DC. In fact, I probably should put my hat on because you know what, I like my hats. Here we go. That's what I was wearing. But listen, welcome to Little Blackbird 91. We're talking to you guys obviously about Ready to Love. Listen, crazy things are happening. Hold on, let me just put this away so it's a bit more on title. But yeah, no, crazy things are happening. We're talking to you guys obviously about the latest episode. And let me be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie to you, the episode wasn't that exciting. Is it just me? It might just be me, but it wasn't that exciting, if I'm honest with you. But what I would say is that there's a few things that we can talk about, a few things that we can dive deep into. First and foremost, Red and Marvin are in the bottom two. And the question I'm asking is, with Marvin and Red on the bottom two, what kind of questions do we need to be asking about some of these men? Let me be very frank with you and very real. I think the situation with Red and Marvin, Red is boring. If we're to give it a simplistic thought, is Red is boring. You know, from what they showed us, what they were trying to imply to us, Red is boring. Okay, and is very mechanical in the way that he operates. So he gets exciting. He gets excited by the he is not no let's say he is excited by when he talks about his work and what he does and the achievements he's done. But in terms of personnel, in terms of being relatable, in terms of actually being involved with the relationship aspect, it's giving boring. I'm not saying it doesn't mean that he might not be that boring, but from what they were showing us on the show, he boring. Okay. And then I think with Marvin's almost the complete opposite. He's too exciting. We've almost got two extremes here. Marvin is too much on an exciting scale that he almost has no. There's almost a feeling of you're not serious. You're almost too exciting. You do. You're and exciting, of course, is relative because we're talking about sex and anything to do with that kind of form of play. And so Marvin's sexual energy and need to talk about the things that he does in the dungeon is exciting. It can be, I'm sure, but he's not giving off the best impression when it comes to actually can you be in a relationship, right? Because when people hear those things that he talks about, unfortunately, it may be slightly too early, or it may be that it may be that when it comes to talking about his job, it's a very unique person that will take it and be okay with it, right? The fact that you're talking about making women orgasm. Look, if I start talking about how I'm gonna make girls orgasm, you best believe I'm not trying to put you in a relationship. I'm trying to impress you. See, that's the difference. See, that's the big difference I'm gonna say, right? I'll be very honest with you, okay? Whenever you talk about sex in this capacity, it doesn't make somebody want more of a relationship with you. It makes them want to taste you. You get what I'm saying to you? Talking about your cooking is going to make somebody want to taste your cooking. It don't make them want to be in a relationship with you. So I'm not saying that he's bad for what he does but I'm saying that because his job is so surrounded around sex, it's like around that particular aspect and what he does with women's bodies, right? As good as he may be, it is very difficult to think about a relationship when you know that he's gonna be touching upon, hitting, spanking, doing very sexual things to other women. Like, it's gonna take a very strong woman to want to be in that situation. So for me personally, I'm like looking at it like, yeah, well, these two would be in the bottom. They would be in the bottom. Because right now we're not offering anything that's going to be giving relationships stability. Now, I think Red has more to offer in terms of relationship stability. I just think he needs to open himself up more. I don't think Red has been used to opening himself up in a way that's not about work. And I don't think Red had. No, I don't think. Yeah, let me say that. I don't think. I'm struggling to see how much conversation Red has had outside of someone who isn't knowing of who he is already. See, when you know when we talk about this dating game, right? When you know somebody already, right? When someone knows your name, let me give you honest thing, right? Um, the more you grow in this social settings and social circles, let's say for instance, I go out and someone goes, "Oh, I know your little black book," like da, 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 da. I do not have to work after that. Let me just be very real with you. It gonna be easy, okay? It gonna be easy because I don't have to put as much work in. But if I don't know them, then I have to really put some effort in because I don't have their trust. I don't have their buy-in. I don't have, much of their no knowledge of me. But if they're already impressed by me, then my conversation kind of, especially if you know it's worked for you in the past, you kind of stick to what you know works for you. So if you know that it's something that, um, uh, and don't take it like that, Elsie. That's not what I mean. What I mean by that is it's easier. It's easier to have that conversation because that person already knows who you are, and you just need to stay on having a conversation about your work, and they potentially might be more impressed. That is if you're dealing with fans and not people who genuinely like you, and that's the difference. When someone's a complete fan, they fantasize about you. Hence why the conversation is about you. But when that person is genuinely interested in you, the conversation becomes about we. Do you see what I'm saying to you? The focus is dependent upon the position of that person. If you are a fan to me, we're going to find it very hard because you're going to put the focus on me because you're a fan. But if you like me, you actually like who I actually am, not what I do, then the conversation that starts at the very beginning is a mutual one. Let me go back to my original point. What I was saying about Red was I think he might have experienced a lot of women obviously knowing who he is, and maybe his way of impressing women has been through his accolades and what connections he has, and the kind of women that he's been dealing with have a lot of the kind of women that he's been dealing with have been easily impressed by the accolades and the achievements because they're the type of women that chase status, right? The women that are of quality that you want to be in a relationship with you, the the people that are in a relationship, the people that are in the people that are that you want to stick around and hold you down and love you and care for you, um, they're not necessarily interested in just your accolades and achievements. If they wanted that, they could have gone to Wikipedia, they could have gone to LinkedIn. When I'm trying to get to know you, okay, when I've been trying to get to know you, I want to know what makes you. I'm trying to understand what makes Red who he actually is. And he failed because actually Lee asked him a question and said about how you find in a process. And he's like, immediately was like, oh, I don't want to talk about anyone else. Baby, we ain't. I said, how are you finding the process? That made me realize straight away, wait, why is Red's mind instantly going to a place where he's like, I don't want to talk about other women that I'm dealing with. But no one's asked you that question. They asked you specifically about your experience on this show so far, how you're finding it. So I was like, wait, if your mind is already at the place of don't discuss other women with this woman, you're already in game mode. You're already in game mode because you aren't even listening. Right? You're already in game mode. You're already defensive. Right? Because you're on the attack already. You're defensive because you're already on the attack. And so the moment she asked you, and it was a really simple question. Honestly, it was a real simple question. It was like just asking him whether, how he's finding the process so far. And she had to correct him. I was like, oh, Red, you might need to look a bit deeper, my boy. You might need to look a bit deeper, my boy, because you're already trying to anticipate. So I was like, okay. Oh, interesting. I see where you're going. So yeah, with Red and so that's happening, So Red and Marvin, I can see why they're at the bottom too, you know what I mean? And we'll discuss more about it. Marvin. Let me just say this, my final point on Marvin as well before we go and discuss the rest of the show. I think my final point on Marvin is this. Marvin is a sweet talker. He knows how to get women into a position, right? He knows how to get a woman into a position, right? And the position is spread leg. That's what he knows. He knows how to spread leg as a position. He knows what to say, what to do, how to touch, everything like that. He looks like a fish out of water now because he's not spreading leg. He's trying to spread minds. But the thing is, if you've not practiced spreading mind, it becomes very difficult. One, because you haven't got the authenticity, and two, you haven't got the practice. If you're used to spreading leg, then your conversation is about spreading leg and it becomes focused on that rather than it becoming about the longevity. So that's why whenever he was talking to Kiara, she's like, I feel like he's just telling me things I want to hear. Yeah, babe, because he is. He is telling you things he wants you to hear. Like last week, he told you, I want to go to the Virgin Islands. Da, 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 da. This week, he realized the boy up for the chop. He goes, but I didn't realize, obviously I got considered the other person that I'm in a relationship with. Da, 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 da. He's a sweet talker. He's a sweet talker. Marvin is a sweet talker. And unfortunately, the sweet talking won't get you far. Right? If you're really looking for a relationship and you're dealing with serious woman, you're dealing with serious woman. Yeah? Serious gal. Women that are about, wanting to have a serious relationship, then you gotta come correct because they can spot you from a mile away. See, when a woman's on, and I'm talking about a real woman now. Apologize. Let me not say a real woman. When a woman has gone through maturation, and that's not necessarily to do with age, maturation in terms of she knows herself and knows what she does not want and need, and is refusing to give herself room to indulge in things that she does not need. Then, my friend, when you try to play those games, when you try to drop them bars about, oh my God, no, actually, I meant that, if I'm with somebody, I have to think about it. When you start doing the loop, like you are a Hot Wheels car, yeah. When you start doing a loop on the Hot Wheel car track, they're gonna realize that you're doubling back and you're not actually being true to what you said. You're trying to be sweet because sweetness is what's worked before. Honey that was on the tip of your lips has worked before, but the reality of the situation is you're wasting time because you're not actually being true, right? So what he was doing with Kiara, Kiara clocked it eventually. He's like, actually, I hear him, but that's not what he said last week. So now this week he's changing his mind. Lesson to learn for anybody dating. They told you the answer the first time. Don't let them change it for the second time. They told you the answer the first time. Don't let them tell you a second time. They told you the answer the first time round. Don't let them tell you a second time. Like the second time, you're not gonna try and change it, bro. You told me the answer the first time round. You was cool. Yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, it's obvious, that that wasn't that he wasn't the right person for Kiara, and good on her for kind of like noticing that and putting him up. You know what I mean? So yeah, maybe both of them will go. I don't know, but they're unserious candidates, man. Unserious candidates. And we really got to start killing off these unserious candidates, these men and women. It's not even fun TV at a point. After a while, it just becomes boring. So yeah, we're gonna get into the rest of the review. So if you're new to the channel, do me a massive favor. Make sure you like this live. There's 276 people on this live. Make sure you like it as well for me. What you got for me? Like the live for me, guys. Put the likes up. We want to see those likes go up. Like. Do me a massive favor. Okay, press that like button and let's get the likes up. And if you're new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe to this space. We are a great group of people on this platform, and we love talking about TV shows and relationships. And we sometimes tussle, we sometimes fight, but we always love each other around here as well. And don't forget, for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You see it in the corner over. No, you see the corner over there. It says Mineral Gang. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated. Yes. Okay. All right. So make sure you like the live as well. We've got 276 people in the room. I'm sure it's going to continue to grow as we do more of this. Okay, cool. So let's get into the show. We'll do a little quick rundown as well. Let's do a rundown of the show. Let's start first and foremost with Moria and Sierra. Moria and Sierra, interesting situation. I'm not sure do you know what? I don't know. Moria and Sierra are interesting to me. I want to say this because I just felt like I can see it, but I can't see it. You know what I mean? I can see it, but I can't see it. Almost like I can see it because I feel like I don't know. I felt like there was a little pact going on between the two of them. 'Cause I didn't really see the connection per se, but I can see there's something growing, but I just don't know if that is her liking him. You know what I mean? I can definitely see that, as he said himself, look, he's looking for a home. He's looking for a girl that he can be he's looking for his girl to be like a homie that he can love and find sexually attractive. And they seem to be both agreeing on that. I just don't think, and I guess no, I'm not really seeing. I'm not really seeing that connection. I'm not seeing that vibe. I'm not seeing that tingle. But does it need to be that to make it work? No, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying I don't really see it. You know what I mean? I don't really see it. But they spoke about obviously being, the homie wanting somebody who's gonna, stick beside them. And she asked him, are you attracted to the homie? He said, yeah, you know what? I'm such attracted. You know what? We can leave right now. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think Sierra likes him like that. I think she's smart though. And I think he's smart too. Right? All right. I think he's looking smart and she's smart. And I think they got to make it work because we're here, Sha. But I don't necessarily see relationship right now. I don't necessarily see together. I don't necessarily see love. I don't necessarily see relationship right now for me personally. Do you get what I'm saying to you? I'm not really seeing that yet. So, like this that they were saying about homie vibes, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm not really seeing that spark. But respect for the fact that they talked about obviously fall in love with your bestie and everything. And you know what? I want to be honest with you. I think where I see, where I see something is with what the subject they're talking about, right? When they talk about obviously best friend and being attracted, I said the same thing. I want a girl that I'm just cool with, bro. Like I want a girl that I'm just cool with, that I can laugh with. I'm the kind of guy that I like a kind of girl that, but I'm the type that at the wedding I want to do a little me and you thing. You get me? Like I want that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like I'm the kind of guy that likes to be offbeat and be countercultural and willing to do our thing differently. You know what I'm saying to you? Like I wouldn't mind. You want to wear J's at your wedding? I'll be happy to do it. If you're a culture breaker, I'm willing to do it. You know what I'm saying? You want to wear a different type of dress than the usual traditional? I'm willing to do it because I'm countercultural in a lot of ways, and I like somebody who wants to think outside the box. Now, of course, there's levels to this because I can't do all types of cuckoo now. You know what I mean? I can't do all types of cuckoo now, but you know what I mean? Like I would want somebody who again is my best friend that I can roll with, I can go anywhere, that would have my back in every situation, that pushes me to go and be the best me. You know what I mean? And I was saying this to a friend the other day. I was like, look, I remember a situation. Look, and this is a situation. I was in a situation with a good person that I know, and we had a moment, right? Because we was just chowing and eating some food, and as I was eating the food, my hands were sticky. I had like sticky barbecue flavored hands, right? As my hands were getting sticky, and then like we just like put our hands together, and it was funny, it was weird, but it was a lovable moment. It's like, see, that's what I need from my wife, bro. That's what I need from my wife. I need that kind of energy. Like, you ain't even afraid for us to touch fingers. Not you getting, ew, he got sticky fingers. Like, yo, I'm not, and again, everyone's got their different friends, but I'm just saying, when someone's down for you, when you're down for them and they're down for you, you just got that mutual down ability that y'all just down for each other. You know what I mean? Like, you want to hold each other 10 toes down. Like, you willing to die for that person. I mean, and I want to talk about this on another live. If you're a man, I want to ask you this question. If you wouldn't die for your wife, it's not love. I just don't think it's love. Can I be honest with you? You can clip this part from me. If you're not willing to die for your wife, it's not really love. You don't love her. You like her, you don't love her. You understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah? Girlfriend, if you think to yourself that you're not willing to die for this girl, you're not in love. You really ain't. You've not taken love to its furthest hill. If you're not willing to die for that girl, I'm telling you, you don't love her, bro. You don't love her. You like her, right? Now, this may be unfair because some people are going to say, but what about the girl? This is not one of those moments where it's what about the girl? Yeah. Now, of course, listen, I don't mind a ride or die. Chicken says he would willing to die for me too. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying this, I would never let you. But the fact that you'd want to, it's a bit like the pain on the first date situation. I don't need you to, but the fact that you'd want to, you know what I mean? But I'm just going to say this. Hey, I'm saying, you know, for me personally, if you don't love her, bro, you wouldn't die for her, bro. It's that simple. All right, cool. So what's that Ninja Turtle better die for me? I hear you. I hear you. All right, let's move on to the next one. Let's move on to the next one. Then there was well, before Quinton Janelle, I think it was it Lee? It was Lee and I think I might have messed up the order. Anyway, let's go Lee and Red situation because that was boring, but very interesting at the same time. So boring but interesting at the same time because in their conversation, I just felt like there was no connection. She wants to give him a chance to get into know. But there was a part where I disagreed with Lee. Here's a part where I disagreed with Lee. Okay. Let me say about here's why I disagree. You can't make Red different to who he is. If he's chill, he's chill. Like that's never gonna change. That's got nothing to do that's got nothing to do with him being a bad person or him not being you're asking him to do something he cannot do. I'm asking he's like when she said, oh, I'm asking him to he's not, is he actively listening? Yes, he's actively listening, but he cannot do what you want him to do because he's not that person. I can't ask you to be hyped if you're not hyped. That'll make no sense. You get what I'm saying to you? If you're not hyped, I cannot hype you. You're not a hype person, and it should simply be, you know what? I'm not a hype, and you're not a hype, and you are a hype, and that's fair enough. I'll go about my way. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Yeah. So for me personally, he's not a hype. That's okay. Maybe he just wants to be the boring dad now. Because I think what we're seeing is this. There's another layer to Red, but he doesn't know how to break it himself. Let me go deeper this, right? Let me go deeper this. I believe there's another layer to Red. I believe so. Yeah. There's another layer to Red. And I feel like because he's always having to play this hype character behind the decks, somebody who always hypes the crowd, is a crowd controller. You know what I mean? Like somebody who's always pumping out energy. I feel like there's another layer to Red. But I don't think even he knows how to get that other layer. I think there's a deeper layer to Red that he wants to access, but he's using women to access that deeper layer. It's the wrong way around, bro. You need to access that deeper layer of you and bring that out to the other, right? Because you're asking women to do your job. You're supposed to bring that depth to the conversation, and if they can't handle it, then you walk away. But you're asking for her to pull out this. You're saying you got another side to you, and I do believe he's got another side to him. I do believe, like he said, he wants to just be able to relax and just be this dad kind of energy. He just wants to be able to. He's not somebody that's going to be in a crazy frenzy of energy. Like that's not him. On a one-to-one basis, he's more chill. He's more, calm. Probably wants to just go to the beach and relax and see the sun. Probably just wants to go a little bit of shopping, but not do anything crazy. And maybe he just wants to be more chill. And that's not a problem. I think there's a deeper side to him as well. And I think that you need to unlock that so you can bring that, because that's what brings the interest. Now, of course, it might not be for Lee. I'll be honest with you. Okay. All right. It might not be for Lee. It might not be for Lee, right? But I think in some reality, I see that you need to access that yourself. And when you do, you can bring that to the table, and then the conversation flips. What is it? I found it interesting. Really interesting that after him, he ran the streets. He ran the streets, had a party life and everything. Now he wants someone to be born at home, so when he want to be like that. Yeah, that's life. That's life. Once you realize you cannot party the same way you used to party, and you've run its course, you're gonna want a woman like that too. Yeah, you want to chill. See, where you were when you were 20, it's not where you were when you're 40, and where you are when you're 30. Where I am at 32, it's not where I am even 4 years ago when you guys have been watching me. If you're watching me since pandemic, it's been almost 4 years now, 3 years basically. I'm not even in the same place 3 years ago. Like, if I tell you the kind of woman I wanted 3 years ago, well, you guys already know. I mean, I'm still struggling with the toxicity, but you know what I mean? Like, the kind of woman I wanted then, it's different. Because as you mature, you realize the things that you actually need. Now, I don't think Red leaves Red's taste at all, and I don't expect her to be. I don't expect him to give him a chance. I think she asked him some really good questions, and I think, and this is why I kind of agree. I think El Cid kind of said it, and I'm going to agree. This is a perfect description of Red. No offense to Red, he probably going to shoot us, but let me be very real with you. Red is giving me this vibe. If I'm going to say anything about Red, is giving this vibe. Red is giving me that he used to be, and I hate to say nerd, but that is the real word I'm looking for, that he used to be a nerd, and probably didn't get, and that's the only impression. He may have been a popular guy. I don't know. I'm just saying this is the impression I'm getting, because he's giving off a little bit of, he's giving off a little bit of someone who is got a chip on his shoulder, right? I think that's why the unique situation has gone on for so long. That unique beef is not about unique. It's about her type of women being able to label and categorize him. Now, I mean, him being called a thought should be a win, but it's not a win, because again, it's him being labeled, and being labeled by maybe the type of girl that maybe in the past may have said some things or bullied him or said some things in the past that weren't nice, and made him feel not great. You know what I mean? So that may have made him feel that way. You know what I mean? So maybe that was what conjured up with a unique battle as to why he held on so much. Now, I think also with Red and Lee's conversation, it's almost as if he kind of shrunk. Did you notice that? That he kind of shrunk. See, and the reason I'm saying this is because I realize now why he went on to, why he, you remember I was saying about that thing that he was doing with the ladies, where he said it to Aries, he said it to he said it to Aries, and he said it to Unique, where he's like, he has to tell them, he has to tell them, oh, I know you like me, kind of thing, And I think what I see is someone reading the playbook, but never really fully understanding the playbook. Yeah. Like once you understand the playbook, you don't start running plays according to the book. You run it according to how you've interpreted the book. And it's not a literal translation. You interpret and you add, and you modify your game. For instance, if I say to you, well, talk to a girl about what she likes, and you go and ask her, what do you like? Like, I'm not asking you to go and ask her what she exactly likes precisely, but I'm asking you to kind of like interpret the game. And I feel like Red knows the game, but it's given almost like Corey from a few seasons ago. He knows the game, but can't necessarily interpret the game. So that's why it's almost literal. So in that moment with Lee, I was looking at it, I was like, he almost looks, the way he was looking down a little bit, it almost looked like he was talking to the pretty girl at school, whatever, you know what I mean? Or the pretty girl sat at his table, and he's, because he kept on looking down as he was talking. I was like, where with Unique, that didn't happen. With Unique, he wasn't talking out, and I guess because at that point he tried to come in a particular way. But with Lee, he was looking down. Okay, with Lee, he was looking down. I wish I could have shown you, but I don't know, you know, my internet. I don't know how strong it is. You know what I mean? Like I'll be doing stuff, and then it'd be internet gigging it up everywhere. But yeah, no. You know, so I think that's why with Lee, and I'm watching it right now, and I can see his head is down as he's talking, like, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe whenever he looks up. So when he's talking here and then looks up at an angle rather than keeping his head up and talking. He keeps dropping his head. That's a look. If you want to know about a telltale sign, when someone likes you and they are inferior to you, and I'm sorry to say it, I do apologize. You know, I do apologize for saying this, guys. For anybody out there, inferior is probably the wrong word I'm using. But when you've conquered somebody and you've conquered them well and they like you too much, I'm going to tell you something. They can't look at you. When someone's beauty is too much, they can't look at you. So whenever they are looking down to up, oftentimes it's a signal that they've been conquered by you. Your beauty alone, your grace or your charm, whatever, has conquered them. Which is why you don't, you know, you're only talking, all right, cool. That's how women actually tell between, also notice with men. They see women who are very beautiful, they notice this. If you're a beautiful person, you know this. You've seen it before. You may not fully put the words together. You may have never really put the words together the way I'm putting it to you. But if you go back, the reason why you didn't accept that boy, and the reason why you thought that boy was not great for you, or he was lame, or whatever, you thought like he didn't have the kahunas or the strength, or he didn't have the assertiveness, is because he doesn't know how to hold gaze. He's scared to. So when he talks from the ground up. You get what I'm saying to you? So when he does this, rather than being like, see, when I'm in my most confident, let me tell you something. Look, that's why I don't approach unless I'm in my head, because if I'll do things, I'll go back to revert to my safety, because it's a safety. To drop your head is a safety. It's like, it's almost to say, don't look upon me, I'm shameful. So when you look down, it's almost like when a man walks, when a subject goes to a king. You ever watched a show where the subject goes to the king? Pay attention to next time you watch a show where there's a king involved, right? Or a queen involved. They do not look that queen in the eye. Only those who are around the round table, who are either equals, will look that queen in the eye, because it's about respect, but it's also about, don't ever think you're on the same level. And that actually happens in milliseconds. So if you ever want to know someone's out of your league, it's that body language. And I'm talking to me as well, because sometimes I'll be doing it. I didn't even realize. I'm like, yeah. I'm not. Get your head back into the square shape. She's here. Focus on here. She's right here. So no, okay, cool. I heard you. Yeah, I hear you. When you're most confident, and when I'm in most dominant, this is the look I give. When I'm not in my most confident, my head goes down. It's a signal to that person realizes they've conquered me. And I'm just telling you this because the amount of times in school that I was wondering, how do these girls know? They just instinctively know that you're a pushover. How do they know that? It's because women often, and here's the thing, I think I spoke about this a couple months back, that women are reading body language and facial expressions very well. So when they are intuitive. So what's happening is, as they're interacting with you, if you don't give them the right energy and the right posture, she's going to see that you ain't really confident in yourself. So And as she feels that, she goes, when I and here's the thing, what goes through her head is, if I can read that you're not very strong, then when I'm out with you, the other lions that are males can read that you ain't very strong. That means now when I'm out with you, I'm actually not safe. Right? It means I'm not safe. So it's important to understand what posture and body language, what a good gaze will do, what a good handshake will do, what a good hug does, what strength in the voice does. You know? Okay. Because sometimes when I feel like when I approach a woman, sometimes I feel like, okay, I can feel myself feeling a little bit nervous. So what I'll do, I'll tilt my head slightly to an angle. I don't keep it straight. So if you get this move, listen, if you get this move, it is what it is. You understand? If you get this move, it is what it is. So I tilt my head, I go, Then I squint my eye a little bit. I say, excuse me. I have to create. So sometimes you're not mysterious to me, but I have to make sure, because I'm gonna lose my marbles. You know what I mean? So even me, like, just because I know it all doesn't mean it doesn't affect me. It affects me, but I have to sometimes be like, oh, I'm like, wait, hold on. So I give a little slap. Oh, no. Hold on, come here. And that angle just gives me a little bit of confidence. I don't know why that little angle just makes it. It's like, don't go look down. You still keep eye contact, but just a little tilt. No, excuse me, come here. 1 minute. You know what I mean? Creates a little bit of mystery. The eyes screen, like, I'm seeing something, but I'm not sure what I'm seeing. I know exactly what I'm seeing. I just need a little bit of strength in me. Okay. Now let's get back on to what we're talking about. Red and Lee. So yeah, him looking down and focusing on the ground was a big indication for me that, how confident he really felt about himself in the presence of Lee. And look, Lee's got a lot of pressure right now. You know what I mean? The beauty from the face. And if you heard this, okay, all right, if you heard, what he said about Lee, he was big in the praise for her, fam. So I understand the kind of pressure. You know what I mean? I understand the kind of pressure. So we have to all have our weaponry and tactics. You need to know some of your tactics, as well, like swing it in a particular way. Um, if I tell you some of the secrets, some of the secrets out there, guys, how to sometimes you have to sometimes you have to let them be on. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to throw them off a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're like, what? No, throw this curveball, B. All right, listen, if you're still here with me, listen, we're 40 minutes in. Make sure you guys like the live as well. Let's get the likes up for me, please. Like the live, like the live, like the live, like the live, like the live. Please like the live. I need to timestamp that so that I can put it on Dark Arts, because that's a real conversation, real thing that's actually going in with the thing there. What I was giving away was body language, and it really is a real thing. Yes, like the live if you haven't done so already, guys. Like the live plays, but let me make that in my timestamp to talk about that as well, because I think that could be a good thing for Dark Arts we can talk about one day, as well. All right, so listen, some of the secrets of the beautiful people, they know this. Look, if you spend enough time with beautiful people, when you end up being in the friend zone quite a bit as a youngster, you just start paying attention to what beautiful people are doing, and you realize it's little things. You know what I mean? It's little things. So yeah, it's not easy out here. All right, next one. Let's talk about obviously Quinton and Janelle and their particular collection. Let me just put this out here. Quinton and Janelle. Quinton and Janelle. Ba 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 ba. Okay. Quinton and Janelle. Okay. Please says she wants to talk about one language. I hear you. Quinton and Janelle. So Quinton and Janelle, interesting situation with Quinton and Janelle, because they seem to have this really good vibe. They were vibesing. Do you know what I put down in my notes? I said when I listen to Quinton and Janelle, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, let me know in the chat if you agree with me or not. And if you're watching this on a replay, comment down below at this point, let me know. Whenever I'm watching Quinton and Janelle on this episode specifically, let me say this for the episode, I found myself laughing with them. Anytime they were joking, I actually genuinely found myself kind of laughing with them. You know what I mean? I generally start laughing with them. Is it just me? You know? So I don't know. I just generally found myself kind of laughing with Quinton and Janelle, and they seem very genuine. I'm not gonna say that this is the best collection ever, but I'm saying I generally like laugh with them. Like, I can't remember what he said. He said some funny thing, and I started laughing. I was like, yo, I just started laughing with them. I was like, yo, they generally are a good vibe together. And so hearing them together and seeing them and discussing, and I like it. Whether it's a long-term relationship is is yet to be seen, because the age difference is quite a bit, right? I think he's 30, is he 35? Was she like 41? That might be an issue, but he dates older women, so there could be a maturity there. If he's got a bit of maturity there, it could potentially be one of those flavorsome relationship. But I don't know how it would work long term. I think you could get a good 10 years out of this, but would it be long term? I don't know. But I definitely love, I definitely love the fact that they have this good vibe and good energy. So yeah, I liked it. When she talks about next man to pick her up, and then he was looking to pick her up or whatever, and then they spoke later on, and he spoke about obviously you popular, and she said you popular, and as long as we both popular, we'll see each other again later on. And I like it. She said she likes his pressure. Now here's my thing. Listen to these words. She said, I like his pressure. What does that mean? Let's see what we can come up with, guys. Janelle said that she likes Quinton's pressure. What does that mean? In this context, in the context that we already know Herbert and Quinton are both at it, in the context of having these two men, what does it mean for you when you hear her say that she likes this pressure? Okay. Yep, El Cid said it. She likes the chase. And also Jacqueline said it. Right on the money. She likes the chase. Not only does she like the chase, but Quinton is not number one. Right? Quinton is not number one. Now, she tells us all the time, I can't choose between Quinton and Herbert. No. Janelle's a very smart girl. She knows she cannot release Quinton because it's not sold yet on Herbert. And that's fair. I'm not mad at her. I'm just explaining what you're seeing. So I'm not mad at her. I'm not saying she's wrong for anything. No. In reality, all it is she likes his pressure because his pressure means she has that. He keeps applying it because Herbert's number one. That's why she likes his pressure. Do you see? Right? And so long as he keeps pressuring, and so long as Herbert's, in the space, it's all good. She needs him to keep applying pressure. The moment he takes his foot off the pressure, right? Problem. Because then she's left with Herbert alone. I'm not mad at this. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at it. She wants him to keep applying pressure. Go for it. What was that? Okay. Her wording she used in the last exchange together told me she wasn't all in with Q. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I don't know what she said in the wording. Let me know what wording she used. So it's again, we're kind of just revealing where her mind is. This is again not a bad thing. People, and I keep saying this to you, that no one really ever has two ones. You don't ever have it. There's no such thing as having two. I just can't choose between two people. They're both as like, no. You're afraid. Listen, One is in front, the other one is clearly behind. They may have both similar characteristics, but something is you need something to be made very clear to you. You're afraid of making a mistake and saying that the other one was a better choice. That's all it is. You're just afraid of making a choice because you think that if he's the bad one and you missed something, then actually he would have been a better one. That's all it is. You know? That, oh yes, 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 yes. Yes, I hear you. Yeah. So she said she needs to see how the relationship nurtures. Yeah, I remember. I remember that part. Yeah, because what she basically said was it's not just about the fact you're applying pressure, but I want to see how that relationship nurtures, meaning I want to see there's depth to this. I like the fact you're on me, but I want to see there's depth to this. So it's a very clever way of again, giving herself a bit of time and a bit of space and just saying, well, and still listen, this is what we call the mastery of stringing people along. Y'all don't want to hear it, but you need to know it. Okay? All right? You don't want to hear it, but you need to know it. Okay? There's a mastery to being able to string people along. Now, some of you are going to be really hurt by this because some of you are going to be like, that's just so insensitive. And you know what I'm going to say to you? Get a grip. Get a goddamn grip. Okay, I shouldn't say goddamn. I'm very sorry, guys. I apologize. Lord, forgive me, because someone's gonna message me saying I'm insulting Jesus. So at least get a grip. Okay, get a grip. Okay, all right, get a grip. Right, you need to master the art of being able to string people along because it's a life skill. Sometimes you don't want to do something right there, right away. You may need to buy yourself a little bit of time. You know what I mean? In this life code of a game, you need to learn how to play politics. Sometimes you need to politic. Okay? Sometimes you need to know how to politic. All right? All right? And I know some of you are not interested in politicking, and that's fair. But the rest of us must politic. You understand what I'm saying to you? So what she's understood is how to subtly get out a message which still keeps them intrigued. So that wording that she used, the feminine wow, someone said, I love it. That wording she used was a great example of that by her saying, hey, look, we got a great connection. I want to see how you nurture it. What she really saying is, boy, I don't see the depth. But I ain't gonna finish you. You know what I mean? I need to see the depth, but I'm not gonna throw you and toss you aside. I can see that maybe you might not have that depth, but I'm not gonna toss you aside. I need you. I need you. You get what I'm saying to you? I need you because who I'm really looking at, my target is Herbert. But I don't trust people in general. I don't trust men in general. I got to make sure that I've got my guy intact. I got to make sure that I got to keep you there because I need your pressure in order to make sure that I have some power in this duel. What you must understand is that when it comes to relationships with a lot of people, not all, and I wish it wasn't this way, but a lot of us are coming from broken spaces and broken homes, and it's very hard, even with healing, to get rid of this mindset. Many of us are struggling with power dynamics. And sometimes when people have 2 or 3 people that are interested in them, they have far more power, and that creates a dynamic between you and them. So what she's doing is making sure that this brother here don't have the power. Because if he has multiple women that want him, he has too much choice, meaning you have to be uber patient, and that's kind of scary. See, being uber patient is very hard. Right? Being uber patient, really, but no, do you know what's even more painful? If you don't get chosen, if you are uber patient. What if you are uber patient, real calm, and real chill, but you're still doing your job by having conversations, liking this person, and they're like, you know what? You down to earth, you cool, man, you mad vibes, you sexy, you this, you that, but they don't choose you. What if? What if? See, and in order to avoid that, what people tend to do is like, no, I'm not going to be stuck in the dark. I'm going to let you know I'm desirable. Because a part of that also is what we call art of seduction. So a part of art of seduction, okay, the part of the art of seduction also is that in art of seduction, you must be desirable. People want desirable people. So if Janelle presents as a desirable individual, guess what's gonna happen? The man gonna like her. Same with women. They see a man that's desirable, they gonna like him. It's just part and parcel of life. Okay. Right? So yeah. But now here's my thing. Here's my thing. Apart from that first conversation with Herbert, since then, I ain't heard nothing. Since the first conversation with Herbert at the actual beginning of the show, all I've ever heard from Herbert is sexual jokes. It's just me. Can we talk about it? No, can we talk about Herbert, the secret sexer? There ain't nothing. People keep talking about growing vibes. I haven't heard anything growing from Herbert apart from sex. Apart from when he. But then again, of course, editing's editing. But all I've ever heard from Herbert, especially towards Janelle, is sexual comments. We 5 episodes in. All I've ever heard was him talking about sex, sexual innuendos. Yeah, sexual innuendos. And even it was even happened today. Today it happened really bad. No, today it happened really, really bad. If you noticed that it got to a point where Janelle was talking, I don't know what she was saying, but it seemed like she was trying to go a little bit deep. And then Herbert moved the hammock and did a little bit too much. And then it ended in a sexual innuendo. Rather than bringing the conversation back saying, "Do you know what, my bad, I missed it, Let me, I missed it. Come back. What were you just saying a minute ago? Because what you were saying was really deep. Let's go back there. No. He took it away. He allowed it to go away from there and then made a sexual innuendo. So I'm asking myself, what depth does he have? You get me? Right? Yeah, he does. That's the Herbert knows how to do it in a charming way. Herbert knows how to do it in a charming way. Look, if I drop a sexual innuendo, I'm going to do it in a charming way. I'm not going to do it in a way that is offensive. So that's the key thing, right? Herbert knows how to do it. But yes, with Janelle, he seems to be having sexual conversations with Kiara, having sexual conversations. With Lee, he didn't try that, right? And maybe because the dynamics between Lee and him is age. Okay, maybe the difference between the difference between Lee and I think is really age, and I think also as well the energy that Lee brings. If you drop that little thing without really fully understanding where you are with her, it's going to end. He doesn't have the same buy-in. You know what I mean? He doesn't have the same buy-in that he had with Janelle and had with Kiara. Seemingly it's different, but with Lee, yeah, they had where she talked about healing and da 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 da. But I don't know. Mm, mm, mm. Anyway, let's leave Herbert alone now. Can we talk about obviously? Let's talk about obviously Kier and Marvin. Because I was like, Herbert seems to be having a sexual energy. Like he's smart. I like it, but he's smart. He knows like what he's doing. Jessica and Chris. Real quick, I want to talk about Jessica and Chris real quick because I think this is interesting, right? Sorry. I think Jessica and Chris is really interesting, and I'll tell you why. It was interesting because when I watched what Jessica did, I really loved what Jessica did, right? So she was like, I'm gonna campaign for my man. I wonder if her personality trait is campaigning, because I've never seen somebody campaign the way she did. She said, "We are going to run a political campaign on Ready to Love, and you are not going to be voted out." Now, he might not have been voted out anyway, but she ran a political campaign, Jessica. Literally grabbed that boy in the arms, took him round to everybody's table, was like, "We're going to be making sure we're sweet to everybody, nice to everybody." And literally, it was a beautiful moment. I genuinely looked at it and I said, this is such a beautiful moment. And that someone like that has a beautiful heart. I would like to think, because, you know, you said that this week and next week they're madness. So, but I genuinely feel like, that kind of person has a beautiful heart in that sense. You know, and I was like, wow, like the fact that she would do that for him. And I saw her holding his hand, and later on, and saying she's gonna that he should call her, he should message her when she gets home and stuff like that. They seem to have a relationship, But yeah, it was interesting to see how it was interesting to see Chris. Yeah, Chris told Tommy, he like, I ain't gonna get in trouble, as well. I love that point, Melanie Brooker. You know what? I didn't even think of that, but now you said that, I can understand what you mean. The reason why she may campaign very hard for someone like Chris is because maybe she has been overlooked a lot in her younger days. Yeah, maybe that could be. Now, of course, it may be that, strategy as well. She may be trying to keep her man, and she told everybody she's trying to keep her man on the show. But it's the way she went about it. You know what I mean? She didn't wait till the ladies' lounge or whatever, and go to herself, I'm gonna fight for my man there. She was like, I'm gonna be on the front foot. We gonna take you around, Chris. You're going to do your rounds, and we're going to make sure that everybody sees you, hears you, feels you. Okay? She definitely in. Definitely in. Arika said a different. Okay, that's different, but I didn't realize that could be true too. I ain't gonna rule it out. I'm not gonna rule it out. Jessica was manipulating that man low key, so you can look out for her when it's time for elimination, playing chess. I'm not gonna rule that out. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna rule that out. Okay, so definitely not gonna say there's a no to that. I took it on a more positive this time round, but there could be some dark arts there as well. But it was nice to see that particular thing happening. It's not easy out here. Okay, so that was also another really interesting aspect as well. Yeah. Not Jay with the little takeover spirit. If you know, you know. You know what I mean? But yeah, I really liked Jessica energy in that, and it's nice to see, especially as a man, it's nice to see a woman do that, and support you and back you. But yeah, it was a little takeover, because the way she was holding his hand, it was like he had no choice. But yeah, like you have to appreciate the gesture. You know what I mean? I think my last point I'll make, because I've got my hour time has come up, and I want to keep this short, like I said, these days, is Marvin and Lee's date as well. Marvin and Lee, Marvin plus Lee. So Marvin and Lee, I think the situation with Marvin and Lee was interesting, right? Their date. Marvin and Lee, their situation is quite interesting. Someone said, I hope it doesn't turn into a mommy situation. That's a good point. I never thought about that. Good point. Let's hope it doesn't. That's a good point. Really, really good point. Marvin and Lee. Marvin started off by, commenting on Lee and saying about her red dress. Lee pretty much rolled her eyes at the thought of him saying red dress. Honestly, like it started off well for about 3 seconds and descended into carnage by the end. Like drama. Like it started off well and then ended in carnage by the end, right? Because he started off by saying a red dress, but you can see that she wasn't properly laughing, right? And then I think he said something else, and then her face just turned, and I knew At that point, she said, "Yeah, she just said, I signing out. I can't do it." Then she asked him some key questions. She asked about him being, you said about you want a relationship like your parents. Is that going to be a monogamous relationship? I said, God damn. I said, damn, hot diggity damn. Well, I'll be damned. And so, she dropped that bar, and he was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and I'm like, "You sure? Hmm? Yeah, are you sure?" Cause you sure? Cause it sounded a bit wild out here. Cause okay, all right, it sounded a bit wild out here, my guy. So I think he might need to address the monogamous situation right as well. And she was like, "I don't want him to get bored." I was like, "Yo." Now Marvin came out and said something. I think in Instagram, he said that the production wanted him to continue with what he said. Right. So whatever he says next, he says production said he was okay for him to continue. So he went on and explained the whole entire thing of what he does. Right. But my thing is this: do you think it was sensible, necessary now to explore all of that just yet? Maybe it might have been, maybe not been. Just my thought. Was it necessary to explain all of that yet now? Because did you have a buy-in with Lee yet? It was still a new connection. So was she ready for that? I'm not saying lie, and I'm not saying trying to hide anything. I'm saying maybe be sparing on the details until we're a little bit deeper and focus on other things other than just your job that is very sexual. But some would say happy to get out of the way straight away so they can make a choice too, and I understand that as well. But when you start talking about you tie her to the bed, I get a booty fetish. He gets a nipple fetish, a nipple oral fetish, whatever. I said, hot diggity damn. He like all of this kind of stuff. All right, cool. Then he went back. Uh, you know, he went then and said about tie a girl to the bed, and when she orgasm, I was like, again, you have to be smart how you sell something. Someone asked me the other day, "Is it a one night stand?" I said, "No, it's a one night magical experience." See, what I mean by that is change your wording, bro. Like it sounds wild to say it the way you said it. Like going to a girl and say, you know what, I just want to smash. It sounds very mad. Add a little sprinkle to it. Somebody came knocking the boots. We're making real love. Somebody here knocking these boots. Like CH Town, how they put it. Listen, we all know you're smashing. Ain't you? What is we're making love? We know you ain't making love. We know you're smashing. But the reality of the situation is you're gonna sell it to us in a different way. But you're not adding no gloss to it. You ain't gonna sprinkle a little gloss in it. Hmm? You ain't gonna put some you ain't gonna put some little gloss in it. You know what I'm saying to you? Yeah, you gotta sprinkle a little something on it, man. This is why we love the 90s. This is why I love the 90s. I love the 90s because you downright know they're talking about everything that is not get all naughty. Okay. But in reality, right, because of the way they sprinkle, because they put a little sprinkle on it, it makes you like, oh, okay. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's not a one night stand. It's a night of a magical experience. So yes. Okay. That's my final thoughts, guys. All right. That's my final thoughts. Okay. So, personally, I just think to myself. Lee did ask, but it was just because someone asks, wisdom must prevail. Wisdom must prevail. Just because someone asks, wisdom must prevail. You know what I mean? Yeah, wisdom must prevail. Like you need to say everything? Probably not. All right, cool. Aries and Phil. Yes, Aries and Phil, they had a conversation, but I mean, there wasn't much in it. Like, she likes him. He's a mature man. You know, I didn't even have no notes on them. I can't even lie to you. I had no notes on them. You know, I have no notes on their conversation. Um, I just feel that she was flirting with him. Okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that could be a good point. Not lying. That could be a good point. That could be a very good point. That could be a very good point. I can see where you're coming with that. I'll be honest with you. I can see where you're coming with that angle. You know, Lee's a beautiful girl, but I can actually see where you're coming with this angle and saying that she's not interested in that erotic lifestyle, probably because she wasn't educated in this type of art, or she just hasn't had any interest, hence why she was clueless. I hear what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair. Mm. Now, was it Chris? Was it Catherine? Catherine? Catherine and um, Catherine and who spoke? Herbert. Catherine Herbert spoke as well, didn't they? Catherine Herbert spoke, and that was an interesting conversation, right? Because you know, he was like saying, "Oh, everybody, that girl, you know, like he was talking about that, saying that Katharina, sorry, yeah, saying that uh, about I can't remember what was a comment that he made about that girl. But anyway, you know, he made a few comments, and I was like, okay, again, energy with Katharina. She thinks he's a grown man vibe. I don't know. I don't know. You know what's really interesting as well? Uh, I can't lie to you. But what was interesting also was Unique and Chris. I didn't talk about them. I probably should have. I might do a separate video for them. But Unique and Chris, really quickly. Um, when Unique said, "I see that you had a hard life," and he was like, "Yeah." So you actually see that. I was like, "Oh, okay. Two hard lives. Okay, I see it now." And so I was like, "Yo." You know, I was like, yo, it's tough. I was like, these two toughies, they're gonna see each other for what it really is. I'm not mad at it though, but I liked um you know, I like the fact that they they seem like they could be on the same wavelength. Do you know what I mean? They may both need to get some therapy. Just might need to be. So I'm gonna leave it there, but I'm gonna definitely do some shorter versions of the videos of some of these characters and bring a little bit more deeper breakdowns. But listen, you already know, guys, I gotta love you and live you. Um, and yeah, you know, I don't want to leave you without a little something, something.
I'm like, I'm leaving here with something. You know what I mean? I'm from around the way. I'm leaving with something.
It really was given. We're gonna bond this trauma. We're gonna bond over trauma. It really did give that. Can't lie to you. It really did give that. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification upload.